Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Taylor, your host for the Taylor James Lifestyle Show. Please, before we get started, if you could like, subscribe, comment, and share this with your friends, it would be greatly appreciated. We are trying to build this channel, and that starts with you guys. So please help us grow this platform so that we can affect more people on a larger scale. With that being said, guys, we're going to get right into it. Today's episode, we're going to talk about self-discovery and the journey to self-discovery. I'm going to give you some tips and a couple other little bits of information to hopefully help you on your journey. Self-discovery is something that I don't think it's talked about enough in personal development, but I think it's the most important part of your personal development journey. Understanding yourself, discovering who you are on a deep level. And so with that being said, we'll kind of go into the definition, or at least one of the definitions that I found and the one that resonates with me the most. And that being self-discovery. Understand your true self, needs, desires, what you truly need on a deep level, what truly drives you, what truly motivates you. And we'll kind of dive into that a little deeper, of course, but it's not about, what's your favorite dinner, what's your favorite color, what, your favorite food, and your favorite place to vacation. You know what I mean? It's knowing yourself on a super deep level, almost on a spiritual level, knowing yourself on a level that only you can know yourself on. Being that you are the only one that is 100% aware of yourself, right? And so with that being said, we kind of understand what it is, right? We are trying to find our deepest desires, our needs, whether that's energy, whether that's our purpose, things of that nature, right? What makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning, the things that maybe drain your energy versus the things that give you energy, and same with motivation, suck the motivation out of you and in turn give you motivation, right? And so we'll jump into these. I got 11 tips, and they're pretty generic. We'll kind of talk about every one as we go. The first one is the probably most simple one, and something that everybody can start doing right now immediately, is work to be your best self each day, no matter what you're doing. Now, it's something that I try to always focus on just for myself and for my journey in personal development. Working on being the best person I can be for myself primarily, but as a byproduct of that, people around me are affected by my journey and the things that I'm trying to do to better myself, in turn better other people, or of course give people an example to learn from. So this one is also one I'm a big fan of. Number 2 is take risks and try new things. I think a lot of times what our self-discovery journey shows us is who we really are. It reveals your true potential, and I think that part of understanding that is trying new things and taking risks. Now, calculated risks. Let me just put that in there. We want to think and maybe talk about some of the risks we're gonna take here. I don't recommend going skydiving without a parachute. That's pretty risky, but I definitely would recommend going skydiving with a parachute. That could be something that changes you and helps you grow out of a fear and shows you on a deep level who you really are. And I've always been pretty, drawn to things that kind of freak me out a little bit when it comes to new things. Like maybe it's some kind of sport I'm into, and I want to try a new trick or a new move or something, and I'm scared, you know what I mean? But I do it and I conquer that, and it's just another reason for me to be proud of myself and to show myself what I'm truly capable on a deep level. And I think that really does something for you and yourself and your psyche. I think it really just kind of solidifies your purpose and yourself to yourself, if that makes sense. So take risks, try new things. Maybe for you a new thing would be like going to dinner by yourself. That's kind of, a lot of people can't do that. Go sit at a bar, a nice bar. Don't go to a dive bar, but go to a nice bar, sit and have like a steak and a couple drinks by yourself, and maybe spark up a conversation with a new person. And things like that I've found are just super impactful in really different ways. Another one, number 3, another one I'm pretty passionate about myself is honing in on your passions and what makes you excited. So, I really like doing this podcast. I really like working on things, whether it's a house or cars or, recreational vehicles and things like that. I find it fun to wrench. I find it fun to work on stuff. I find it fun to problem solve. Excuse me. And so I like to hone in on those passions. I like to practice. I like to maybe record podcasts that I won't release. Practice editing silly videos just for fun, right? I just find it fun, and that's what excites me right now, right? And same with exercising. Exercising is a passion of mine. And every day when I get in the gym, I'm honing in on that skill of building my physical self. And I really like it. And consciously being aware of the fact that you want to hone in on your passions is really important. Sometimes people get a little bit discouraged with things getting difficult, but when you remember that you're honing a skill that will maybe pay you in the future, or that will pay you in some way, whether that's energy or, just fulfilling a passion or a purpose, remembering that you're honing in a skill is always really good, and especially a skill that is a passion of yours. You know what I mean? Don't get discouraged with it being tough. Everything's going to be a little tough sometimes, but remembering that you're honing those skills will always kind of make it a little bit easier. And on to number 4, understand your strengths and think about how you can apply them everywhere. Now, really, really good one. Think about your strengths. Understand your strengths and think about how you can apply them everywhere. So this is a really good one for me. Like I can be pretty people-y. I can be very friendly with people. I can talk with people pretty well. I enjoy it for the most part. And so I apply that strength to a lot of different areas in life, right? I apply that to my businesses. I apply that to, the way I operate in life, essentially. Let's think of some other strengths. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's a, for me, I've talked about on the podcast before, of like dialing in how to be more effective with maybe being working. Like for me, working at home has always been a little bit, it's good and it's bad, right? I'm at home, so I'm distracted sometimes, but building an environment that is conducive to creation and the lack of or an abundance of a lack of distractions, I guess, is really important. And so my strength is to build an environment to where I can focus on one thing for what I'm doing. And I apply that to different aspects of life, whether that's me being at a job site working on a house, or whether I'm here in the office working on the computer. I build the environment to where I can focus and work efficiently in that environment. And that's a strength, and I apply it to many different things in life. And another thing is maybe your strength is you're really good in short bursts, you know what I mean? As far as like working, maybe it's physically, maybe it's on the computer, but you're really, really productive in short bursts, but you need every 20 minutes or so to take 5 minutes to do something else, right? And that's a strength, So build it to where you are utilizing your strengths. If you're burning yourself out trying to work for hours on end and you're not getting anywhere, take a break. You know what I mean? Work the way that your body and yourself want to work. And now I'm not in any way advocating for fucking off at work and playing on TikTok, but what I am saying is, like, if you work for 20 minutes and you want to get up and do a lap maybe around the office, or you want to do some push-ups and kind of come back and refocus, I do that sometimes, and it really helps me. And so understanding that you're stronger sometimes when you step away is understanding your strengths and then applying it to other aspects of your life. All right, on to number 5. This one I'm horrible at, personally, but it is start journaling. Basically, journal your thoughts so that you can reflect on them later. I should probably do this. A lot of times I will, that's kind of the podcast for me. A lot of times I kind of say my thoughts in the moment, in the day, and I kind of speak my mind on things. And then I occasionally will catch something later and I'll be like, oh, that's almost my form of journaling. But I really do think it's good. Obviously I'm going to be thinking and feeling things that I'm not going to share with anybody. And so the ability to reflect on that, is always really good, and I've seen it work wonders for people, journaling and kind of getting their feelings out, and it's just never been something I've really been into. I've always liked the idea of doing it, but I'm just real bad at it, so that's one I need to work on. Number 6, make sure you surround yourself with people who support you. Man, I can't attest to that more than any. I just couldn't. That one is a super important one. I have been in and around situations, in and out of life multiple times with people who don't support a dream or a vision that you're trying to work on. And the closer the person is to you who doesn't support you, the harder it is to either get along with that person or make happen what you're trying to make happen. I typically don't fuck around with people who don't support me. If there's negative shit, like, I'm pretty done with it. I'm pretty over it. I'm pretty much like, go take that energy elsewhere. I really have gotten to a point in my life where I don't have time, I don't have time for negativity. I only have time for positivity, and I'm not going to let others' bullshit and others' insecure thoughts drag me or my mission down. A lot of times, and this is real shit that I've really experienced with real people in my life, but people who don't support you or maybe come at you with some negative bullshit, typically a lot of that is just a projection of their own insecurities. And I've seen it with real people in my real life. People get insecure because it reminds them that they're not doing something that they dreamt of doing, or they're not working on a goal that they want to work on, or maybe they feel like they are unable to and they're jealous because you are able to. And as far as I'm concerned, that nothing is more toxic than that. Nothing is more negative than that, and putting that hateful energy out into the world is just bad juju. Anybody in my life that's succeeding and doing great things, I feel that I'm the biggest cheerleader that they'll find. Like, I'm so pumped when people are doing great shit. I'm so pumped when my friends are doing great shit. But you'll notice as you grow and as you shine and as you glow and grow into your personal development journey and your journey of self-discovery, you'll start to see that people are almost kind of grumpy at you and almost kind of negative because they feel like you're doing something that they can't do, or I don't know. It's not a feeling that I have ever felt about somebody before, but I have felt it come from other people before, and it's not a good feeling. And so my thoughts behind it are, distance yourself from people like that. Just get as far the fuck away from people like that as you can, and surround yourself with people who support you. And sometimes in life, we go through phases where there won't be anybody around but ourselves, and even that is better than being around people who don't support you. It can be tough sometimes, for sure, but I would rather be alone than be in a crowd of people who don't support me. So that's just my 2 cents on number 6. Make sure you surround yourself with people who support you. Number 7, really, really good one, impactful, and something I put into practice every day. Learn from your mistakes. Most important part about that is learn from your mistakes and move on. Collect the on the slope in the oil field, we used to do these things called after action reviews. And so we would, successfully, most of the time, complete a job or some sort of operation. And then after that, we would talk about the reasons why it was successful, what we could do better, things like that. And so when it comes to mistakes and moving on, that is my main goal. My main goal is to not focus on the mistake unless it's something that reoccurs regularly. Within ourselves, I think it's pretty easy to learn from mistakes and move on. A lot of people, and it's sad truth, I think, but I'm even guilty of it myself, but a lot of people have habits of maybe not learning from their mistakes with other people in their lives, and they go back to these people who maybe have broken their heart or treated them badly at some point, and then they don't ever move on. They don't learn from their mistake. They go back, the same mistake happens again. And so in relationships and things like that, I think that's the most important takeaway from a lot of things, really, is like, yes, a lot of things can be chalked up as a mistake, but so much value comes out of mistakes. So much lessons learned comes out of mistakes. And it's our job as the people who make the mistakes or witness the mistakes to take the information out of there and kind of document that for later, for when that type of situation arises again, so that we can be like, thought you'd get me again, not today. You know what I mean? Learn from your mistakes and move on. Important part about that, like I said, is the moving on portion of it. Don't get hung up on the fact that you made a mistake. We all do, you know what I mean? And sometimes they're severe mistakes. I've made big fucking mistakes in my life. And the best thing that I've found to do is to collect all the data that you can from the scenario and build a way for that to not happen again, and then move on. And that's as simple as it is. Number 8, one of my favorites. Think back to your childhood and connect with your inner child again. I regularly do this whether it's playing with my dogs, whether it's monkeying around on like a jungle gym or something. Like I love to connect with my inner child. I think it's really important to maintain a sense of youth, to be playful, to be just youthful. I think it's really important to maintain a sense of that. I think a lot of people get stuck in the societal norm of, we're supposed to go grow up and be serious, and I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I'll grow up, and do all the things that come with growing up, but I'm always going to have a part of me that is just youthful and wants to be silly and wants to fucking do funny things and joke around and climb around and be playful. You know what I mean? There's always a part of me that I let be exercised pretty regularly, I think. Just because I find it important, man. I find it important to really not take ourselves too seriously. And I think letting our inner child come out a little bit helps us remember that, helps us remember, like, man, we're still the same person. We've just cultivated a lot more experience and knowledge, and our bodies have grown a little bit, but we're still that same person. And just because we're grown-ups doesn't mean we can't go out and ride a bike and ride a skateboard and play with the dogs on our hands and knees and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I think maintaining that youth is a real big key to like happiness and just overall well-being. Let's see. Oh, also another one I'm a super fan of. Number 9, be curious and ask questions. Anybody that's ever worked with me, anybody that's ever worked around me, they always know I'm going to have some questions. And not because I'm questioning what people are doing, but more so because I'm curious and I want the knowledge and I want to learn and I want to understand so that I can have more power going forward as far as, knowledge and experience and understanding. I think you can get a lot from asking questions. And it's funny because when I was younger, like when I started working in the oil field, I was pretty shy. I was overly polite. I didn't want to ask questions because I didn't want to feel dumb. I didn't want to bother anybody. You know what I mean? I was pretty insecure for a little while, and eventually, I got to this point where I was just like, I don't care. I'm not gonna worry about feeling insecure about asking a question that's going to give me some sort of value and enable me to move forward. And as soon as I learned that, as soon as I became okay and became comfortable with asking questions, no matter how bad somebody might razz me for it, I began to ascend in my career, of course, but I also just began to ask more questions from more people in life. And I think it's been really, really critical to my journey and understanding people, understanding myself, and understanding just things in life. And, I always kind of think about scientists, in the undying search to find the truth and the meaning and things, right? And that's kind of we are when we were kids, they always told we're all scientists, and I always kept that. Like I always wanted to figure things out. I always wanted to like ask all these questions and get to the bottom, get to the meaning, get to the truth, have pure understanding of what it means, right? And asking questions is the best way to do that. I mean, whether it's you're asking somebody for fitness advice or life advice, or you're an employee at a company and you just want to better understand how to be more effective and understanding a process and things like that, it's all applicable and it all helps you. The only thing that will hold you back is you not asking those questions. And take it from a guy who didn't ask questions for a long time. You will hold yourself back by not asking those questions. Okay, on to number 10. Number 10, build habits that support your personal growth and goals. Now, also a really great one. I actually have a book here in front of me called the Atomic Habits, which I'm loosely reading right now, among other books. But it's all stuff that makes sense. As we go in into these talks about personal development and like self-discovery and stuff, I always kind of remember hearing these things as a kid or hearing these things when I was younger, and it's just all the stuff that makes sense. Treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, don't be mean to people. It's real basic stuff. And like with habits, it's like we all know what we're supposed to do. We all know what we're not supposed to do, you know what I mean? But we make the decision, and at some point we have to be the people that are no longer the people that are making those decisions. We are now the people making these decisions, positive decisions, working towards a goal. And that comes with, building healthy habits. And, when in regards to personal growth and goals, what are your goals? Like, let's see. My goal is to, overall kind of get better every day, learn more every day, and we'll use fitness as my kind of habit to getting to a better place. Fitness helps me in so many different ways. Working out, especially in the morning, gives me an ability to hone in on that skill of building my body and myself. It gives me time to reflect. It gives me time to get my blood moving and get my brain working fast. And that's a habit that has supported my personal growth and my goals for years. And that is probably the one habit I'll say for myself that's really given me a leg up, I think. And habits can be a morning routine. Habits can be a fitness routine. Habits can be making your bed every day. Habits can be small wins every day. And again, we've talked compounding interest. These skills, as small, or these habits that we're building, as small as they seem, they reward us far greater than we could ever understand. We just have to commit to them and get some sort of consistency in place, and then do that for a long time and see how that rewards you. And I'm in the middle of my journey, I think, and I'm probably at the beginning, I would say. Even though it's been years, I think it's in all reality, it's not really something that you ever get to an end of. It's an ongoing thing you do forever. And learning how to build habits and little things you can do for yourself to make yourself more successful and give yourself those wins on a daily basis are they're super, super healthy for your brain and for your body. And you start doing these little things here and there, and you'll start shining. It's just incredible. We're going to move on to number 11. Number 11 is one that I talk about a lot with friends and stuff. It says, practice positive self-talk and reward yourself for your wins. Pretty big one. I'll always say this to my friends who maybe say, they'll say something negative about themselves. And like in a situation, they'll take all the blame. Oh, it was me. It was my fault. And I'm an idiot. I'm a dumbass. And it's like, no, dude, you're not. Like, don't talk about yourself like that. Give yourself some credit. You did this, and this right. This is just a little something you got to work on. Or this was a situation that was completely out of your control. Don't blame yourself for it. And, I have a lot of friends, and it seems like the deeper I get into my journey, the more I notice it, I think. And even when I talk to myself, I try to positively talk to myself. I think it reaffirms in yourself that you're trying, you're doing a good job, you're working in a positive direction, and that's what's important. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're not going to have wins every day. Sometimes we're going to feel real negative about ourselves, but it's just about maintaining the consistency of attempting to try to talk positively to yourself daily, even when things are bad. Because when things are bad, no matter what, you're still out there trying, you're still out there grinding, and you deserve to positively talk to yourself, that be positively thoughtful towards yourself, and that's one that I try to tell people all the time is think positively about you and be positive towards yourself, because you're, again, and I always say it, you're the most important person in your life, and you're the most important person to be positive to yourself. You need to put the most importance on yourself to be positive to yourself. Treat yourself with respect, you know what I mean? Give yourself credit. Like, you have made it this far. You've done an amazing job. And that doesn't mean there's not work to do. Like, yeah, we still need to get on some shit and work hard and things like that. But let's give ourselves some credit for the fact that we've made it this far and we're putting in the work to try and get better. You know what I mean? That's worth a lot, So those were the 11 tips. We're now going to get into 7 elements of self-discovery. So I'll link this article. This is a pretty good article from betterup.com that I've been kind of just browsing, and 7 elements of self-discovery. Let's see. As you work to improve your sense of self-awareness, here are 7 elements to keep in mind. Number 1, reflect on where you started and what you're accomplishing each day. Give yourself the credit, like I was saying. Give yourself the fucking credit. We all have the vision for each day. We all have the goals for each day, and sometimes those just don't happen. No matter how hard we try, sometimes we just can't make it work. But again, remember, you are putting the work in on a daily basis. Even if you're not winning every day, you're putting the intent to win every day out there, and that's the most important part. And really reflect on your accomplishments, you know what I mean? And I think that's the book, Make Your Bed, is really impactful that way, because that's what it kind of talks about, is like, it's one small easy win that you can get knocked out first thing in the morning, and then if everything goes wrong that day, you at least come home and your bed's made. And that's like a reminder that you are still putting in the work. You're still putting the intent out there to be great and to do these great things and to be better, right? And so that's why making your bed is a big one, I think. And I would read that book if you haven't already. It's a fucking phenomenal book. But reflect on where you started, you know what I mean? Remind yourself that you weren't always this awesome. And at some point you made a realization of that, and you're putting in the work to become more awesome. And even if you're not as awesome as you want to be, you're still not where you were when you realized you weren't awesome, right? Give yourself some credit for that. Number 2, zero in on what gives you energy and what zaps your energy. Big one. Certain types of people zap my energy, and certain types of conversations, certain types of people just zap my energy. And so I've made a conscious effort to not be around people that zap my energy. And like I was saying earlier about being around people who support you, is I would rather be alone than be in a room or an arena full of people that aren't supporters, right? I think it's really important to harness the things that give you energy and block out the things that suck your energy, because it's all about cultivation, right? Cultivation and output is kind of how I see it. Cultivating as much energy as you can and outputting that energy in as positive a way as you can. And I don't need any help on letting my energy out. You know what I mean? I don't need any help on... I need more energy every day. I need more positive energy. I need more constructive energy, more creative energy. I need help building more energy. I don't need help getting rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need things in my life that are taken away from that. And, a lot of times for me, it comes down to people take away from the energy. Certain types of actions, drinking. Drinking is a big one that physically, but in so many other ways, it takes something from me, energy-wise, on like a spiritual level, on an energy level. Like, it takes something from me, and I just try not to do it. You know what I mean? Because I know that it's not conducive to getting that energy back. Maybe for you, it's coffee burps. Maybe for you it's drawing. Maybe for you it's art. Another thing for me that is that gives me energy is like doing this podcast. I love doing this podcast. It gives me energy. It's creative. I like to edit the videos. I like to hopefully eventually have an impact on somebody's life. That's a purpose of mine in this world, and that gives me energy just to think about the fact that I could help somebody, and that I get to be creative and I get to do something for myself at the same time. That's what gives me energy. And like I was saying, for you, that might be building a bookcase in the garage. That might be, drawing. That might be journaling. There's so many different things. It's not anything that anybody can tell you, except for you have to tell you what your means to cultivate energy is. I love to be creative. I love to think. I love to dream. I love to try new things and tinker and stuff like that. And so those are the types of things that I try to lean into because they give me energy. Learning gives me energy. I like to not know something, go into a situation, learn something, and come out with that and be like, the trifecta. You don't know, you learn, then you know. And it's just the most amazing thing, and that gives me energy. On to number 3, guys. Visualize the person you want to be. Visualization is super, super important. Seeing that person you want to be in your mind's eye gives you the template of what you need to do now. It gives you the rubric. It gives you the Rosetta Stone. It gives you the, it's kind of like getting a box of Legos, and on the front of it you see what you're gonna build, but in your hands you just have bags of Legos and a little book. And that's where you are right now. You're looking at the visualization of your future self with all the pieces in your hands and the book on how to do it. And so visualizing what you are working towards is probably one of the best things that you can do to incentivize your journey, is to remember and to visualize who you're working on being. That's your reward, you know what I mean? And maybe it's a year, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 30 years, who knows? But at some point, we all need a little incentivization. We need a little incentive. I don't know if I fucked that up, I think it's incentive. We all need a little incentive to keep grinding. It gets tough, even when we're working on shit for ourselves. A lot of times it's easier to work on shit for ourselves than it is for other people. But I think at some point, everybody needs a little incentive to keep going and to remember what you're building, to remember who you are trying to become. That is the purpose behind visualization. And just like looking at that Lego box, you got that Lego box sitting off to the side as you're building your spaceship or whatever. You look at it every so often to get the excitement, to get the hype, because that's what you're going to have when you're done building, right? And it's the same thing for when we look at ourselves. We visualize our future selves. We see what the potential is, and we see that we have all the tools. We have the book in front of us, and we have a picture of what we want to be. And even better, when we visualize inside ourselves, we have feelings, we have sights, sounds, smells, all these things mixed with the visualization, with the actual picture of what we're looking at. We have these feelings and emotions mixed with that, and we deeply, deeply connect with that, put that out there, and we can just continue to build. And every so often you look at that picture, continue to build, look at that picture, continue to build. And before you know it, you got a fully erected spaceship or a fully erected badass, And so yeah, that's visualization to me. Number 4, follow where your passions and interests lead you. Big one, man. For me, passions and interests, business has been big for me. I've always really been passionate about entrepreneurship from a pretty young age. I mean, I grew up hearing a story that I'll tell you guys about on the podcast at some point about my great maybe grandpa coming over and blah blah, all these things he did, and he was this badass entrepreneur and this badass dude. And then my great grandpa was a badass entrepreneur, and other people in my life have been badass entrepreneurs. I've always just been really, really interested and fascinated with being like your own boss and things like that. And so at some point in my life, I had kind of realized, I'm pouring in all this energy into somebody else's company. I think it's time for me to pour into something for myself. And my interests and my passion for that thing kind of led me in that direction. Meanwhile, I have a skill in being just handy with things, and so I leaned into that skill in conjunction with the interests and passion that I had. Another thing is fitness. I started to realize that I had this incredible passion for fitness, and I became a personal trainer so that I could hopefully impact other people's lives in the same way that mine was affected and impacted, right? And that, fitness is something I'm passionate about. Helping people is something I'm passionate about. Being my own boss is something that I'm passionate about. I'm interested in all these things. I'm interested in figuring out how to do it all, because it's all things that you have to figure out how to do. I'm interested and passionate about problem solving. And so I lean into these things. And again, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Your passion might be like a dog, like you might love dogs, you know what I mean? And maybe your calling is to open up some sort of dog boarding, you know what I mean, where you get to spend time with dogs, you get to train dogs, you know what I mean? Passions, interests, they're different for everybody. Sometimes they come and go. Sometimes we get interested and passionate about something, and then they turn out to be something we're not super interested in, and that's okay too. Everything that we do and everything that we learn and everything that we get is all just more tools in the toolbox of life, I think. We get to have these experiences and these knowledge, get this knowledge, and a lot of times, that's the most important part. I couldn't put a monetary amount on the experience that I've gotten from life. It's just priceless. Like the amount of information that I have gotten so far, and the experiences that I've witnessed and gone through and felt are so much greater than any monetary amount. And I really do believe following your passions and interests can show you that. But don't get discouraged when maybe your passion and your interest is something that you end up not being so passionate and interested in later, right? It happens. But that's us as humans. That's what we do. We kind of go through phases. We try things. We learn that we don't like them. We learn that we do like them. And when it comes down to passions and interests, we go with the ones that we do like. And anyways, guys, we'll jump on to number 5. Let go of your inner critic and any self-doubt. That kind of goes back to positive self-talk. I'm super big on letting go of your inner critic, getting rid of any self-doubt. It's a lot to do. It's hard. It's difficult. It's not super easy. Because there's always that person, and there's always been that person inside of us who want to question ourselves and want to doubt ourselves and criticize ourselves, and tell ourselves, oh, you're not good enough, or there's no way you could do that, you know what I mean? But that you're not even giving yourself an opportunity to prove yourself wrong. And I think, I got a big old chip on my shoulder. I'm trying to prove something to somebody, right? And I'll always say that my biggest critic, the person I'm working the hardest to prove wrong, is myself every day. And every day is just another day where I have to show myself what I'm capable of. I have to show myself who I am, show myself that I am built for this or whatever it is, right? And I don't have time for self-doubt. I don't have time for my inner critic. Like, I got work to do, and that's kind of how I view it, so that I don't have the time for it. Like, I don't have the ability to let that in because I'm too busy working on moving in a forward direction, and I'm not going to let any self-doubt or let my critical self chime in to slow me down and get whispering in my ear about, oh, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. Probably one of the hardest things about your self-discovery, personal development journey is going to be shutting that side of yourself up. The side that's criticizing you, the side that's talking about you not being able to do it, the self-doubt. That'll be the hardest part, but it's one of the ones that is the most important, and it takes a little work every day. What I think the key to conquering self-doubt is to get out there and be doing the things that you doubt that you could do. And maybe for you, it's like oh, I doubt I can get up on time to work out in the morning, and you say to yourself, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to overcome whatever it is inside of me that's being a bitch about it, right? And you overcome that, and you prove your inner critic wrong. You take away any self-doubt because you just do the action. You just make it happen. And the more times that you make that happen, the more solidified you are to yourself. And it's important to again, get these little wins in every day and show yourself what you're capable of, so that you can get rid and silence that as much as you can, that bitch voice, that inner critic, that voice that's always doubting you, that's your voice. It's just not you. It's just a different side of you. And you got to silence that. You got to get rid of that altogether if you can. Like I said, it's an ongoing process for everybody, I believe. But letting go of your inner critic and any self-doubt will help you in more ways than you'll ever understand. Because again, we are all our own biggest critics, and the only thing that really holds us back most of the time, I think, is ourselves. And I can say that about myself for sure, because I have done it. Anyways, guys, on to number 6. Choose a life meaning and a purposeful. Choose a life meaning and be purposeful with your actions. Choose a life meaning and be purposeful with your actions. So, we've talked a bit about it already, but one of my purposes is what I call it in life, is to help people, and through fitness, through mindset, coaching, through life coaching. This is the direction I want to go, and I try to be as diligent, I try to be as intent with my actions as I possibly can, or as it says, purposeful. I think as I kind of get older, I kind of get more focused in on what the actual mission is, and I kind of remind myself that, like, yes, I have a meaning in my life, and I have a direction I'm going, and it kind of quiets down all the noise around you. It's kind of, when you have a purpose in life, and when you have a meaning for your life, it takes away a lot of the bullshit as far as the distractions from your mission. And in order to get closer to completing the mission, you have to put things into action, and being purposeful with those actions is super important. You have to really put some intent behind those to move forward, to show yourself, to show the universe, to show God, to show that you are working towards that goal. You can ask and ask and ask for a great life and a better self, but if you don't put anything into practice, if you don't put things into action, you'll never get it. And that's just fact. And you really are reminded, again, kind of like, forget what we were talking about earlier. I can't remember, but basically remembering, visualization, that's what it was. Remembering what your goal is. Remember what the goal is. Remember what the mission is. Like, you can't be compromised. You have to continue. Like, you don't have time for bullshit. You don't have time to be slowed down. You have to get back on top of the mission and stay on top of the mission and move forward. And having the meaning and then being purposeful with your actions is a really good way to stay aligned with your purpose. It keeps you on point, I think, and reminds you every now and then, hey, I gotta stay on top of my my actions. I gotta be purposeful. I gotta put intention into the things I'm doing, because if I don't, I'll never get to where I'm going. And again, I find it helpful to kind of quiet down some of the noise of life when I just sit and reflect about, how can I be more purposeful about my actions and my journey forward? What can I do to put more importance on my journey forward? Because that's mission, number one, is to dominate, win, to get to a place of abundance and greatness, and to be able to spread that with the world and hopefully help people in as many ways as possible, right? And like I said before, you know, all of our self journeys, our personal development journeys, it's all for ourself. It's all for us. It's all for me. It's all for you. It's all for whoever is in the journey. It's for them. But the greater that you impact yourself, the greater that you will be able to impact others. And as a byproduct of you impacting yourself, others will be by default impacted. And you know, a lot of people will try to argue that things maybe sound selfish sometimes, but I will be the first to argue back and say, you know, if you can't take care of yourself, who the fuck are you going to take care of? You know what I mean? This is probably my favorite one. Be proud. Well, one of them, I think I said that a couple times. Be proud of your power, grit, and resilience during challenging times. Very, very self-explanatory. It's something I have to do regularly. I'm always reminding myself of you know, what I'm capable of, what I've done already, what I'm set out to do. You know, during challenging times, it's the most important to be in tune with yourself and the mission, because there's always going to be challenging times. And those are the times where that inner critic and that self-doubt start to chime in. But you can overpower that with being proud of yourself in the face of adversity. You know, a while back, I made a video about laughing in the face of adversity. And that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I have to try and laugh and be as positive as possible in the face of adversity, and be proud of myself for being able to do that. And every time that I've overcome a situation or felt proud in the face of adversity, I have been able to overcome and dominate that challenging time, whatever it may be, with a little more grace and a little more abundance and a little bit more positivity. You know, even when it seems like the whole world's falling apart and you got like 87 things going wrong at one time, and if you can kind of maintain a cool head, you know, like they say, cooler heads prevail. And I think I've seen it from leaders that I've worked with or worked for, where, you know, something will happen and they just completely break down and they fold like a lawn chair and they just fucking cry in the corner because, oh my God, something is stressful and something's happening, you know. And it's like, come on, dude, you know, be proud that we're here. Let's get it together and let's face these challenging times. Having that resilience is just another thing that you can kind of prove to yourself that you're capable of. In the face of adversity, I can maintain a positive attitude. I can have an impactful existence on this planet, even when it gets tough. You know what I mean? So, but basically, guys, that was my 11 tips and 7 elements to remember. Like I said, I'm going to link this article down below. I think it's a really good article. It's a pretty long one. I don't think we've been on here for an hour, have we? No way. I can't see the time on there. Anyways, guys, really good article. Let's see what this says. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Here, I'll throw a little bonus at you. This is 5 benefits of self-discovery. Your relationships will thrive. That's number 1. Number 2, you'll experience less self-criticism. Great. Number 3, you'll feel more creative. I can attest to that. Number 4, you'll have a better ability to focus on what you truly want. I can, again, attest to that. Your self-confidence will increase. Absolutely. Definitely agree with that. Again, guys, really, really badass article. I'm going to link it. I'm really tripped out though. Like, have we been doing this for an hour? My thing over here says 55 minutes. That's crazy. Anyways, yes, Better Up, this article. I'll link it down in the description. Go ahead and check it out. It's a really good read. Apparently it says that you can read it in 16 minutes. So that'll be really helpful for your journey. Again, guys, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Got more shit to do, of course. So, yeah, victory to everybody. Charge hard. We'll talk to you later.